Good afternoon, all the Toastmasters and honored guests. I myself, Toastmaster Guram Nitin, the Sergeant at Arms, welcomes you all to the meeting number 673 of Speech Weavers Toastmasters Club Bangalore. Toastmasters Club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Toastmasters have helped people from diverse backgrounds become more confident communicators and leaders. I request you all uphold the cardinal principles of every Toastmasters meeting, which are: keep your microphone muted at all times except when you are invited to speak. Keep your video on at all the time unless you are moving in and out of the room. As an encouragement to every role taker and speaker, please make sure to applaud generously virtually. Role takers and speakers will continuously refrain from expressing their views on sex, politics, and religion to ensure the sentiments of audience are not hurt. The, our presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Subhadeep. Please welcome our presiding officer, Toastmaster Shubhadeep, who is born and brought up in Kolkata, which is a city of joy, currently residing in Bangalore, working as Associate Director of Gupshup Technologies, which is listed as top 25 unicorns of India. As a Toastmaster, recently started by Third Pathway Journey, serving as a club coach for Wipro cohorts and Micromasters. Personally, he enjoys playing guitar and singing. He is a fitness enthusiast. He is a public speaker and he also enjoys photography. Started a brand named Shubh Lenses Photography in 2019, which caters to wedding photography. So let me invite our presiding officer for today to take up the role. Toastmaster Shubhadeep. Toastmaster Shubhadeep, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nitin, for the introduction, and welcome fellow members and guests to another meeting at Speech Weavers Toastmasters Club. Let's welcome everyone with a big round of applause. I couldn't hear any of the applause. You can unmute yourself for a moment. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so before we begin, our club is known for creating a warm, friendly, and supportive environment as we gather each week to fulfill the Toastmasters mission to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which our members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater confidence and personal growth. I'll just take a pause. What did I just say in just under 30 seconds? So what I'm saying over here is, at Speech Weavers, what we do, or why I have been part of this club since 2019. It's extremely simple. My goal was always to become a good speaker because that's what I love. I enjoy the stage. I enjoy the thrill of standing on the stage and delivering speeches or performing. That is what I am all about. And at this club, at Speech Weavers, it has given me numerous opportunities to present myself as a speaker, evolve myself as a speaker, and most of all, portray myself as a better person through communication. Now, with that being said, I would like to call upon meeting number 673 to order. And before I introduce the Toastmaster of today, I would like to give a hint about the theme. You might have seen that the poster that has been created by the team. So it's very interesting. We all know it's monsoon, it's raining out there, and we all are waiting to hear what Toastmaster Adarsh has in store for us throughout the next 1 hour and 30 minutes. With that being said, I would like to hand over the stage to the TMOD or Toastmaster of the day today, Toastmaster Adarsh. The stage is all yours.
How many of you in this room, you know what? I'd like all of you to turn on your cameras real quick because we're going to have a very interesting visualization that we're going to perform. Now, I'd like to ask all of you, how many of you in this room love monsoon? How many of you love it? By a show of hands. How many of you love the rain? Now, quickly close your eyes because I'm going to let you visualize this amazing scene that I had in mind last night as I went to bed. Close your eyes. Come on. Prashant, Bidu, Shubdeep, yes, Milind sir, everybody, just close your eyes. I'd like you to imagine yourself running down the road. And this road is surrounded by a bunch of trees, and all of them are green in color. There are tiny droplets of water falling one after another on the road. And you put on your jacket, make yourself feel as warm as you can. There's this cool breeze that hits your body, and you feel super cold, you feel vulnerable, but yet delighted. You run and you somehow find your house, and you go inside and you go sit on your couch, and your couch makes you feel so warm to a point that a part of your body feels warm, but then the other part of your body is still so cold. So you just go pick up a blanket and you just wrap it around your body and you make yourself feel as warm as you possibly can. You turn on the heater so you feel even warmer. And soon you feel warm enough. So you quickly go and you go grab a mug of coffee and you go stand next to your window and you watch the tiny droplets of water rolling down the glass and you just take a sip from your coffee. Let me show you how you do that. That feels good, doesn't it? Now imagine this scene. I'm sure all of you have had such memories before, and that's what makes monsoon very, very special, if I'm not wrong. I want to quickly ask our speaker number 2, Prashant, on what makes monsoon very special to him. That's what makes monsoon special to me. I'd like to hear from you now. What do you think? Why do you think monsoon is special to you?
Thanks, Toastmaster Adarsh. I actually don't like monsoon. I hate the cold weathers, to be honest. But the only thing I really like about the monsoon is the freshness it brings in, the greenery it creates around with us. There's a lot of good fresh air. I believe those are probably a couple of things which I like about monsoon because I'm a nature-friendly person, so I go into forest whenever I get a time. But beyond that, I hate the rain, I hate the cold weather, I hate the traffic it creates. But yes, those are some really good memories it also builds in.
All right, that's a different perception of monsoon. But I hope by the end of this meeting, I'll make you love monsoon. Now I'm going to quickly go ahead and ask Bidu what makes monsoon very special to him. I know Bidu is joining us from Delhi. I'm not sure what the weather is like that, but I know it's pretty cold there, so I'd like to hear from you.
So I was in Mumbai for a year or so. So I think at that time monsoon was pretty good for people who were living in slightly better parts of Mumbai, if I may say that. So if you go to places like Marine Drive, if you go to places like Juhu, those places are really beautiful in monsoon. So there's a lot of visually appealing pictures that you can see of the climate, the sea immersing with the clouds. But in Delhi, yes, we have not experienced that much of rain as of now. But whatever little rain we have experienced, we embrace it because it reduces the temperature for a bit. But my fond memories drives me back to the school days where we were really not worried about our clothes getting drenched, just like the aerial ads, surfacial ads. So we would go out, play football in those muds, and come back home with clothes not embraced by the parents. And those, I think, are very special memories with monsoon.
All right, then. I think that is quite special, isn't it? I think maybe Prashant may have derived some inspiration from that and may have probably built up a newfound love for monsoon. But let's hold that thought for now, and we'll come back later in the meeting. Now, we already know what Toastmasters is all about. We don't have any guests in the room. We have our Division B Director, DDM Saurabh Datta. We have a lot of Toastmasters here, and all of us know the significance of Toastmasters, so I don't have to get into that. But what I will get into is the first segment of today's meeting, which is the prepared speech session, The preparatory session will consist of two speeches today. One of the speakers is yet to come. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We already have both the speakers. My apologies. Our first speaker for today is Toastmaster Shubhadeep, and the other speaker that we have in store for you is Toastmaster Prashant. Now, I'm going to quickly go ahead and call on Toastmaster Shubhadeep's evaluator. Oh, no, my apologies. I forgot to introduce you to the most important person in the room. That is the general evaluator for today's meeting. The general evaluator for today's meeting is someone that I consider to be very special. He is known to be the most charismatic, the most dramatic, the most exciting, and the most informed Toastmaster we've ever had at Speechweavers. He is none other than our very own DTM Milind Kulapkar. He is someone that coaches many clubs, he mentors people, and he's one of those joyous people that I love being around. DTM Milind, over to you as the general evaluator. I'd like you to introduce you to our tag team for today's meeting. And please bear in mind that I'll be your timer for today's meeting. Over to you.
Thank you, my dazzling Toastmaster of the day, Adarsh, my scintillating fellow Toastmasters, and my sparkling guest. As a young person, I was associated with the Theatre Art Workshop and Shakespeare Society of Eastern India. And we used to perform commercially on stage. Those days, each one of the stage actors of my group were paranoid of one thing, of one individual, not the audience, but one critic. I would not name him because he's still very active, so I avoid to. And he's a critic on a reputed English newspaper in Calcutta. Moment we used to come to know he's there, all the actors used to go white as if they are frozen, their blood has been frozen. And then our director used to come with some Bengali parodies and used to make us somehow come back to normal. The parody used to go something like that. Akhono tumi moroni. Haven't you yet died? How come you are here? We used to sing that song, parody a couple of times, naming that person, and then we used to cheer up. That was our huddle which used to have. Fortunately, thanks to Rasi's medley, we are not here to critic, to embarrass you, but we are here to give you feedback. And how is this feedback? It is not a criticism. As they say, criticism, like rain, should be gentle enough to nourish a man's growth without destroying its roots. We in Toastmasters have recognized the merit of such thing. So our feedback focuses on areas where the particular speaker or role taker has dazzled. And then only we share areas where they can work on and areas where they can challenge. Now you may ask me, why is this? Why we have to first identify areas where he excels or areas he or she has dazzled? Because as per Juliet Martin, an American columnist, said, when virtues are pointed out first, the flaws seems less insurmountable. Appreciating the goodness raises the moral of the receiver, and he's open to receive the thing. So now that is a feedback which we have as a feedback section when I'll be called upon by the TMOD, and then not only me, I have a dedicated team with whom I'll be sharing. So dedicated team starts with the timer. The timer for the day today is Toastmaster Adarsh. Adarsh, can you just share what is your role as a timer for the meeting?
Thank you very much, DTM Milind. So my role as the timer is pretty simple. I'll be timing each speech and each table topic that we're going to have. And I'm also going to be timing all the reports, including the general evaluator himself. So to quickly go ahead, we have two speeches in store today. One of them is from Toastmaster Shubhadeep and the other is from Toastmaster Prashant. Both speeches are going to be for 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be displaying the, give me 1 minute. Yes, I'll be displaying, I don't have the cards with me right now, but I'll be displaying it during the course of the meeting. I'll be displaying the green card when the speaker hits 5 minutes. I'll be displaying the yellow card when the speaker reaches 6 minutes. And when the speaker reaches a 7 minute, I'll be displaying the red card. And for table topics, it's pretty simple. We'll have, it'll be for 2.5 minutes. The 30 minutes is the grace period. At the first minute, I'll be displaying the green card. At the 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll be displaying the yellow card. And at the second minute, I'll be displaying the red card. And going on to evaluations, which will be for 2 to 3 minutes, I'll be displaying the green card at the second minute, the yellow card at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And at 3 minutes, I'll be displaying the red card, and that will be the end of it. Now I'll be displaying all the cards right behind me through my virtual background. Forgive me, I just cannot display it right now. I need a couple of minutes, but meanwhile, I'd like to hand it back to our general evaluator, to DTM Milan.
My second tag team is the grammarian for the day. So may I invite the grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Bidu, to share what is his role as a grammarian at today's meeting.
Dear Toastmasters, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers and to take note of outstanding usages of the words, sentences, and phrases. Also, I would highlight the improvement areas in places where speakers use not so good phrases. It is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is plethora. I repeat, plethora, which means a very large amount of something, usually more, that is needed. I'll give you an example of the word called of plethora. During COVID, there were a plethora of advice coming from various sections of society, but a very few were warranted. During COVID, there were a plethora of advice coming from various sections of society, but a very few were warranted. I request the Toastmasters and guests to use the word of the day wherever appropriate, and if you do, I will appreciate by showing a thumbs up and also calling out your names at the end. Thank you, and I will give my report at the end of the meeting. Over to you, the General
Thank
Evaluator.
you for explaining your role as a grammarian. Now, as far as Meeta, who was supposed to be our counter and listener, I don't see her. So is there anyone who would like to take the role on the fly as an R counter and a listener, if that is okay? Or Bidu, you want to couple up with double roles or triple roles?
Yeah, I had gotten a message. Kamini had actually taken up the role of a listener on the fly. So we really appreciate that, and she can extend her role. And for R counter, I would be taking care of the R counter as well.
Appreciate that, Bidu. So can you explain your role as a R counter?
Yes. So as an R counter, my role would be to see how many speakers and how many role takers use the touch words like and I would highlight them, because absence of these words always make you a much better speaker and a communicator. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Now I hand it to Toastmaster Kamini, who is the listener for the day, to highlight what the virtues of her role. Over to you, Kamini.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Milan. So as a listener, I would be listening to each and everyone in the meeting and then making my notes, which will come up as questions for all of you towards the end of the meeting. I would also like to say that this role in a Toastmasters meeting is important because we are communicating, and communication starts first with listening. So if we get down to breaking the skills in any language acquisition, LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, writing. So to be able to listen is a great skill, and what better place to practice than a Toastmaster meeting. Having said this, thank you. I will come up again once called upon by you, General Evaluator. It's over to you.
Thank you, listener, Toastmaster Kamini, for taking up this role on the fly and elaborately explaining the importance and significance of listening skills and why it is so important and why in Toastmasters we need to have it. So as and when the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Adarsh, calls me, I, along with my plethora of backup team, tag team, and the dedicated evaluator, I'll make sure I'll submit my report along with them. Over to the TMOD, Toastmaster Adarsh.
Thank you very much for that, TTM Milind. I think it was quite good. I think you are one of those rare general evaluators that I believe goes through the nook and corner of everything that we'd expect in a general evaluation report. I'm pretty confident that all of us in this room are looking forward to it. Thank you very much for those kind introductions. I would like to welcome, as part of the next segment, our joke master. Our joke master for today is Toastmasters Sai Shri. She's been here before, she's entertained us before, and she's one of the funniest I've ever met. Sai Shri, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Adarsh, Toastmaster of the day. Can you just confirm with the timing guideline for me? How much time has been given to me?
All right, then. The time guidelines are pretty simple. At the first minute, I'll be displaying the green card. 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll display. And 2 minutes, I'll display the red. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Oh, my poor husband. Every day, me and my husband are talking. See, I'm your guru. I'm your teacher. Recently, we have celebrated our Teachers' Day, Guru Purnima, as per our Hindu tradition. My husband came to me and asked, Happy Guru Purnima, darling. Oh, why are you saying Guru Purnima, Happy Guru Purnima to me? Go and tell to your mother. Every time she's talking about me and teaching many lessons against me. Poor husband. He went to mom. Happy Guru Purnima, mom. Oh, so this also taught by your wife. Husband again went to wife at the night. Like my husband came and see, if I'm wishing you, you are not happy. If I'm wishing happy Guru Purnima to my mother, she is not happy. What to do? This is actually happening every day between husband and wife. One wife was very angry with the husband and she told, oh my God, every time you're just doing this thing, you're not able to make a tea properly, you're not able to do this thing, blah, 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 everything she told. And finally, as per her friend's advice, she went to doctor, psychiatrist. Psychiatrist asked, dear madam, what happened? Psychiatrist told, what to say, sir? Whenever I will see my husband, I'm getting angry. I become a brat, want to blast. Psychiatrist heard everything what is happening and he told, okay, do one thing. Write whatever coming to your mind about your husband and burn it. And poor that lady was not very much aware about English language. Okay, I will burn, I will write everything, I will burn, but what to do with the paper which you have? Master of the day.
Thank you very much for that, Toastmaster Sai Shri. I think you have impressed us once again with your amazing collection of jokes. We cannot wait to have you back once again because you're absolutely the best. I think Toastmaster Bidu was literally asking you to come to the club. I think that is it for this segment of the Joke Master. Now we're going to move to the most important segment or the crux of each Toastmasters meeting, and that is the prepared speech session. For our prepared speech session, our speaker one is Toastmaster Shubhadeep. Toastmaster Shubhadeep's evaluator is DTM Saurabh Datta. DTM Saurabh Datta, would you be able to explain or put out the objectives of Toastmaster Shubhadeep's speech?
Sure. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. Am I audible? Okay. So our speaker today is attempting this speech, this project, which is writing a speech with purpose. So people who have enrolled into Pathways post October 2021, this is a new project that was added last year. And here the speaker will have to, there's a purpose statement that the speaker has already shared with me, and the speech has to serve that particular purpose statement. I'll come to that purpose statement in a while. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. The member completing this project is working to write a speech with purpose The speech they create must be well written and clearly focused. Their goal is to meet their expressed purpose statement with a well executed speech. Now, coming to this speech, the member will present a well organized, well delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech content and style should work well together. Now, there are certain parameters that we look for in a Toastmaster meeting for a prepared speech, which are some standard parameters like clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, and comfort level. For this one in particular, there are two specific parameters. One is the specific speech purpose, which is the specific purpose was clear and supported by the speech style and organization, and the general speech purpose, that is the speech effectively met the expressed general purpose. Now let me quickly call out the speech purpose. 1 second. Yeah, and it is to project control, prevent any nervousness, and fill a check. I repeat, the purpose of this speech is to project control, prevent any nervousness, and fill a checks. All the best to the target speaker, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Very much, Toastmasters Saurav. Timer, that is myself. I'll note that the timing for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and the project is from the pathway Visionary Communication, and it is on writing a speech with purpose, as the evaluator described. The speech title is "I Will Find My Habit." Toastmaster Shubhadeep, I will find my habit. Over to you.
It has been a long time that I have taken the podium to give a speech. And today, the premise of this speech is entirely upon sharing a fall that happens when you're out of touch, a fall that happens when you are not sharpening your skills enough, a fall that happens when your habit goes for a toss. My dear audience, today I'm sharing something which many of us might be able to relate to, since it's very much humane and can happen to the most of us, or even the best of us. The stage or the podium of Toastmasters has always been extremely dear to me. And the reasons are multiple. But if someone picks me up and asks me the question that why do you continue being a Toastmaster, the only simple answer that I give is Toastmaster has taught me to be or being a better person. A few years back, when I started this journey as a Toastmaster, I was reluctant to speak on stage in front of a large audience. And at times, I was extremely frightful to take up the stage and deliver something. It would have been a nightmarish experience for me. But over the years, being part of Toastmasters, and I have been part of two excellent clubs, Adobe Toastmasters and Speechweavers. It has given me massive amount of experience, a great amount of learning, and I was able to control that stage fear. I was able to speak effortlessly in front of an audience. I have also been able to function or work as a host throughout multiple functions which lasted for big hours actually. Things did work out extremely well since I joined Toastmasters. Now, let me take a pause and ask a question. How many of us in this room were or are still scared of their father? Show of hands. Okay. Me, I was terrified. He was the next Hitler to me. However, my dad was a musician, or rather is a musician. And since childhood and till today, whenever I see him playing or singing, I see him playing the same song a million times, or maybe he'll just recite the same line multiple number of times over and over again. One day, I asked my dad, you sound really good with this specific song. So why do you keep on putting the vocals, keep on practicing the same thing over and over again? He just tapped my head and said, son, it's all about practice. It's all about dedication. You need to keep polishing your habit and you need to never leave it even for a day. Now, back then, when I asked the question, I did not pay much heed to the answer that he gave. I carried on. However, For the last couple of months, I have observed myself that I have not been able to perform in the same way on stage like I used to do before. In my speeches, I have had fillers, I have had pauses, even in the stage performances. I did not even meet my own set expectations. A few days back, I was speaking with my dad, sipping a cup of tea, and I asked him that this is something which is happening to me. I'm seeing myself falling from that stage, a thing that I dearly love. I'm not sure what is going on. So he just smiled and told me, son, for me, it's music. It's a song that I keep on practicing. For you, it's becoming a better speaker. For you, that your habit is to win the stage. That's what you always have envisioned yourself. So never let that habit fall. I have been out of Toastmasters for almost 6 months. I gave speeches, but very limited number of speeches due to multiple reasons. And it's just me coming up with those excuses, not anyone else. It's me who neglected the habit that I had. So, my dear friends, my dear Toastmasters, my dear guests, today I'm standing in front of you to share something very close to me. It's a habit that I had. It's a habit of speaking. I cannot just let it go. I'm here on stage today, on this virtual stage, standing in front of you, hoping that today, when I kick off my journey with this third path called visionary communication, it's me starting this journey once again. And I'm confident that by the end of this path, I will find my habit. At the culmination, I would like to end with a note or a quote from Aristotle. Depending on what they are, our habits either make us or break us. We become what we repeatedly do. Thank you, and over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shubhadeep. That was quite a speech. I will find my habit. Well, all of us have many habits, and I think all of us will find ours at the end of the speech. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome our evaluator two. Evaluator two will be evaluating Toastmaster Prashant's speech. I'd like to welcome Toastmaster Deepa to explain the objectives of Speaker Two's speech. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Adarsh. Our second speaker is attempting his project from level 3, which is negotiate the best outcome. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different types of negotiation and the strategies that can be used when negotiating. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of a past or future negotiation in his or her life. Timer, please note, time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Deepa, and the instruction for me and the timer for today, once again. I would like to, yes, our next speaker for today is Toastmaster Prashant. He has a pretty interesting speech in store for us. Now, I don't have his introduction, but I don't think he needs any introduction because he's already told me that he's someone that does not like Monsoon. Well, that literally put a dagger into my heart because I'm here to talk about my love for Monsoon, and there's someone here that says that he does not like Monsoon. Well, I have taken it upon myself to make him love Monsoon during the course of this meeting. But then again, that is something that's up to me. I'll work on that. But for now, I'd like all of you to come here and just open yourself up and listen to Toastmaster Prashant, because the speech title for today is Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela. Toastmaster Prashant, the stage is yours.
Pay attention to this scenario. Wake up. It's time to go to office. Let me sleep for 10 more minutes. I didn't get a good night's sleep. Wake up. It's already been 10 minutes. You need to go to office. Nah, it's okay. I'll sleep for 10 more minutes. I'll probably eat something on the way. I'll skip breakfast at home. Wake up. You are really running late. You said you have meetings at office, right? It's okay. The traffic will be bad. I'll probably not go to office. I'll do some remote work. It's fine. My dear fellow Toastmasters, what do you think is happening here? What do you think is this particular situation? This is a situation which is negotiating with yourself. Do we all negotiate? Raise of hands. Do we all negotiate? When do we negotiate? Today, tomorrow, yesterday, 1 month later? Right? It's important, right? I mean, we all know that we do it on a day-to-day basis. Well, this was a scenario of a negotiation that you wanted to sleep more and you are willing to let go of a few things and compromise on it. And that's fine, right? Meaning as long as it serves your purpose, that's fine. It's nothing wrong, nothing right in that. But what is negotiation? I'll come to that in a minute, but we all know that negotiation is something which we do every day, every minute, every hour without knowing. Sometimes we do it subconsciously. We do it with everything around with us, with everyone with us, and even sometimes God. Remember the Three Idiots movie? Bhagwan, mere ko passing mark dila de, main 100 nariyal tod dunga, right? That's a negotiation. And we all do it whether we like it or not. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing in front of you today to talk about negotiation, why it's important, and what are some few things which needs to be done for negotiation. Well, the art of negotiation is very vital for us, right? It's a very demanding world. It's a very challenging world. And every step what we take today is very crucial for our future, correct? You go for an interview, you're actually negotiating with the hiring manager and said why you are the most qualified person. When you're in a relationship or when you have a family, you're negotiating who will take care of the kids, or who will go to that restaurant, or who will order the food, who will order the groceries. There's always constant negotiation happening. When you want to go for your next big vacation, you actually start saving the money from today for something you're going to do 3 months later. So the next 3 months, you're already negotiating on happiness, you're cutting down your budgets. But that's something which you want to do because 3 months later, you actually want to enjoy, correct? So what is the bottom line here? The bottom line is the better you are at recognizing the times as to when and what and where you should negotiate, the future will be better for you, right? You will get better and better to that. Let me share a story. There was a merchant. He had plateau of wealth and he had 3 sons. One day he passed away. In his will, he had written that my wealth has to be distributed to the 3 sons in a particular fashion. Half of the wealth goes to the eldest son, 1/3 should go to the middle son, and 1/9 should go to the youngest son. And what was his plateau of wealth? 17 camels. Yes, I know what you're thinking, correct? How do you do 17 camels by half for the first son? Correct? That's exactly what the sons also felt. How do we break 17 camels into half, right? It's impossible. This is what led to an argument. This is what led to a discussion which they could not sort out for. So they finally went to a wise man and discussed. The wise man said, are you willing to listen to me and I'll help you out? The son said, yes, let's do it. The wise man brought 1 camel from his inventory and made it to 18 camels in the overall picture. Suddenly it made the discussion much better. 18 camels by half, which is one half, 9 went to the eldest son. 1/3, 6 went to the middle son. 1/9, 2 camels went to the youngest son. 17 were distributed and the wise man took his own camel back. What happened here? This is called as an art of negotiation or problem solving. And the important thing is to find the 18th camel, which is nothing but a common ground. The story may be very simple, very magical, and sometimes very simple also, right? I mean, most of our problems are simple, provided there is an intent to see the solution at the end. And to see the solution, there has to be a common ground in place. The parties must be willing to come onto the table to discuss. If they don't want to discuss, there is no negotiation. There is always either a demand or a confrontation or some kind of a pushback which doesn't yield any kind of an answer or a result. John F. Kennedy said, we cannot negotiate with people who says, what's mine is mine, what's yours is also negotiable, correct? Now, let me tell you a story of my particular space, right? This happened with some few years ago, probably about 2012, 13. I had a direct reportee of mine who had very recently joined my team, and he had traveled when he had relocated from Assam to Bangalore. So first time in Bangalore, not seen much of India. And he said, "Hey, Prashant, I want to go to Kumbh Mela for 2 weeks." Now, I didn't know this person that much, so I was a little bit worried about his safety, health, and I didn't know that whether he's going to even run away with all the Naga sadhus at the end of it, right? So I brought him onto the table and I said, Dev, his name is Dev. Dev, why do you want to go there? He said, "Yeah, I want to click pictures." We connected because I'm a photographer, he's a photographer. We connected on that level. And I set some ground rules to him. And I said, every day you'll do 2 things to me. One, you will send the best picture which you clicked yesterday. And second, you'll send the agenda to me for what you're going to do today. Now, what was the intent of mine? My intent of mine was actually not to actually see the picture to make sure he's all right, he's connected, he's safe. And the caveat which was put in is that, Dave, if I don't hear from you for 2 days, I'm walking up to HR and telling them that Dave has joined the Naga Sadhu troop and he's not coming back. So let's open up a new requisition for the job. He agreed. We did a handshake. He went and had a fabulous time. He came back safe and sound, and it actually made everybody's life easier, correct? What happened in this scenario? The person, we were able to find a common ground. We knew what needs to be done to solve the problem. We knew it was difficult, but we actually could solve it. We let the emotions aside. We let everything aside. We knew what was the final objective and we sorted it. And that's exactly where the common ground needs to be found. Mario Puzo in the Godfather book and the movie said, "I will make him an offer nobody can refuse." Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Prashant, the art of negotiation. I think that is so important in every form of life, no matter where you are. As a matter of fact, we are negotiating right now. We are doing all kinds of things, if I'm not wrong. Thank you very much for that speech. I cannot wait to hear from you once again. And now we're going to move towards the next session. But before we move to the next session, I'd like to ask one of you, imagine yourself at a campfire. One of those interesting things all of us love to do during the monsoon is just sit down, put on, let's say, a blanket, wrap a blanket around our bodies, and we love to make ourselves as warm as we can. And while doing so, we love to have conversations. We love to talk to people. We love to talk to our family members. And one of those things that we do talk about every now and then is our love for Monsoon itself. We share each of those experiences. So I'm going to ask one of you in this room to share their experience of why they love Monsoon or what makes Monsoon very special for them. And the one person I see right now is Toastmaster Joseph. Toastmaster Joseph, I'd like you to tell me what makes monsoon or rain very special for you. So you have to unmute yourself.
During my childhood, I loved to walk in the rain. That was my experience. Even during the school days, we never had a bags or anything. Just take our books, put under the shirt and walk when there is a rain. It is really lovely to drench in the rain and go back and get a little bit of warning that you should not drench in the rain, blah, 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 by our elders. So that was a wonderful experience I had when I was a child. Over to you.
Yes, I think what makes monsoon very special is those childhood memories. And I think all of us have a ton of them. Anyway, I would like to go ahead and introduce you to the person that's going to spearhead the next session. The next session is the table topic session, and it will be spearheaded by our immediate past president, Toastmaster Joseph, who is talking to us right now. Toastmaster Joseph is one of those highly energetic, and I know that the word highly energetic is overused because that is an understatement to describe someone as good as him. He is someone that I think literally can perform any role in the Toastmasters book, be it the table topics master role, even the timer role. I think he once played the timer role. He's someone that can do anything that you can possibly imagine. He is the youngest person in heart at our very own club, Speechweavers Toastmasters Club. I'd like all of you to give a round of applause and introduce our Toastmaster who's going to spearhead the table topic session, Toastmaster Joseph Felix Benedict. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Adarsh. Good evening, Toastmasters and honorable guests. Today, the impromptu speech is one of the most interesting part of any meeting in any club. Mostly, why the impromptu speech has to be given so importance. If you are in a corporate company or a corporate club, I would say, what is the most important thing that you would like to have is a good communication. That is the good condition you have to create in your corporate club so that you will face your boss without any fear or any anxiety, so that any question can be answered when your boss talks to you. That is the good condition. You have to make it if you are in a corporate company. So this impromptu speech will definitely improve your communication and making it a good condition in your office environment. Now today, it is a monsoon season. We have a very good theme of the monsoon also. So I wanted to have what is known as a table topic, which is will share a rainfall stories, getting wet in the rain story, or the hope it stops soon when it rains story, or worse, the slip and fall in the rain story. It would be wrong to say that rainfall gives us an opportunity to create the most vivid memories. So let us relive some of those memories today in this impromptu speaking session. As you might have guessed, topics are based on rainfall, and any of you can voluntarily to speak 1 or 2 minutes. What I would suggest you is that do not repeat the topic. Go straight away to the question asked. Give a little bit of seconds, for 30 seconds for your thinking, then the body of the subject, and then give a message. Don't salute, don't say thanks, don't repeat the subject questions given to you. Now, let me start with your first question. I want most of the guests should participate in this regard, because this is the only opportunity a guest will take in any Toastmaster club for delivering the table topic subject. So I always wish that the guest has to take these table topics. Already I find Manish is standing before me. I also put it in the chat box that you want to speak. You are always welcome, Manish. You are a very good speaker of the table topics. We have enjoyed your presence in most of the time. So tell me, your memorable getting wet in this rainy day story.
Good evening, everybody. My memorable of getting wet. Couple of days ago only, I can say, I went to play golf. And it started like raining like cats and dogs. When I went from home, I saw weather forecasts. It shows it won't rain over there. These days, today also, while playing golf, we were discussing this thing. It shows it would rain heavily. And today I played golf. It didn't rain. And that day, I was soaked in. I was wet almost entire my body because it was raining heavily. And we have to stop our game. And when we stopped our game, we thought maybe the rain stopped. After that, if it drizzle also, holding that umbrella, we can play golf. But the rain didn't stop. But it happened with me first time. I've been playing golf for the past 5 years. But whenever I leave my home at time, many times it shows that it will rain. When I reach at golf course at that area, it was fortunately, it never happened. It happened only once. and I really I enjoy it. But there was a fear in my mind because at our golf course, there are many snakes and the grass is high these days. Only that fear I had. Otherwise, I love in future also, if it rains, if it drizzles, while that playing, that I would love to enjoy playing that game. Because when we are holding an umbrella and when we have to hit the shot, that time I can say somebody to hold my umbrella. If I get wet, nothing is going to happen to me. I'm not a salt which is going to melt. And I would have this type of experience again and again. And I would love to enjoy golf at rainy season, monsoon time. Over to the Toastmaster, please.
Thank you, Manish Gupta. That's a wonderful speech for rainy day. Now, I would like to ask another volunteer, Srikat Kutti Krishnan. Can you take up the next question, please? Hello?
Am I audible?
Not so much. I think there's something.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, now you are audible.
Yeah, please go ahead. I'm just outside a metro station. I just got down from a metro train. So if I'm audible, I'll go ahead.
You are audible, but there should not be any side
Yes.
voice and all that. Please take care of it because somebody is speaking.
Then could you
also.
please give me? Can I be the? Yeah. Can I be the next speaker so that I can come out of the metro station?
Okay, it's okay. That is very kind of
Yeah.
you.
Just give me a couple of minutes. I'll be the next speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So can I ask someone who could take up the next topic from the audience? Or can I ask listener Kamini to speak? Kamini Sharma, can you take up the next question?
Yes, TTM, I'm up for it.
Okay. Your question is, a friend of mine thinks rainfall are romantic. What do you think?
I would like to say, none of my friends have ever communicated that rainfalls are romantic to them. On the other hand, it was me who always went across saying that monsoon is that particular season which gets us all mushy and it charges up to experiment things that would be thrilling. So I am that person who associates rains with a lot of romance, with a lot of coziness. And I remember this one particular time when my father was posted in NDA. So after a tenure of 1.5 years, he moved to a brigade in Pune. And there I had a whole lot of friends. I was the youngest, but what we did, we decided to go towards the NIBM road. And at that point, I'm talking about a decade and more back, there were not many buildings. So that NIBM area was really open and free spaces around. So we were just on our bikes, like two on each bike, and it started pouring. And monsoons in Pune are literally like cats and dogs. We weren't expecting, but it did start pouring. And when it started pouring, instead of us looking for a shed to hide, we were just enjoying the ride through the rains. To add to that, we were singing along. We luckily found this man who was selling corn. So yeah, we did stop for like about a minute or so to pick up the corns. Some of them enjoyed smoking in the rain. So yeah, I think monsoons is not just about romance, but it's about whole lot of things. And this is one season which literally pushes you to come out of your home and be out in the nature, experience that water on you, and just feel blissful in that moment. Thank you, and back to you.
That was a very good experience, Toastmaster Kamini Sharma. You have given the right thinking on the rainfall is also romantic. It is true because the rain never comes when you wanted it. So you have to make use of the rain when it comes. That is the opportunity that is given by nature so that you can enjoy. That was very good um, speech of yours on this rainfall. Now, the third one, I would like to ask some volunteer. Is there anyone? Adarsh, can you see somebody?
I'll take it up.
Okay. Toastmaster Prashant. Rainy day food that you relish. Rainy day food that you relish. Over to you.
Food is actually not my cup of tea. Let me be very honest. People who have seen me, I'm a tall, lanky fellow. I eat normally, but I don't relish a lot of the variety of food. But when it comes to rainy season and monsoon, there's one thing which I can't let go of. And that's nothing but a bhutta or a corn which is soaked or grilled on a machine. I can eat the corn any day, anytime, anywhere. I remember 4-5 years ago, probably 2017, there was an opportunity for me to just have an extended weekend and decided to just take a weekend trip to Kurg. And few of my friends joined in, and man, oh man, it was pouring the entire 3 days. We could barely do anything, right? It was just, and you know, if you've been to Kurg, you would know how it drizzles and drizzles or rains and rains. Still, we said, let's try and experiment ourselves rather than just sitting at our home stays. We went to some waterfall, which I forgot in some remote part, and it was just raining. We found a couple of villages where the arak shops were open. We didn't stop. Okay, we had enough stock at home, but the one place which we stopped definitely was the corn. You know, the grilled corn. Now there is a different school of thought that now you can get the sweet corn which comes from US. I'm not talking about that, the grilled one. That's one thing which you put the chili powder on it. You squeeze a bit of lemon. Man, oh man, your lips burn. Let me tell you, your lips burn if it's spicy. But the kind of joy and satisfaction it provides is amazing. Now, I still can't eat more than one at a time because of my appetite. I have a low appetite. But given an opportunity, I would probably eat that again in the next an hour and again another one in the next hour. So maybe in 2 to 3 hours, I could actually have 2 to 3 corn sticks and just enjoy myself and just relish that monsoon. I know others said I don't like monsoon, but this is probably one of my fondest memories. Thank you very much, DTM Joseph, over to you.
That was very interesting. And it is again the second corn that you picked up from the first corn. I tell you one thing, in our childhood days, the corn was not very particular, but on the other hand, there are some interesting dishes like bhaji, bonda, those are the roadside, and it will be very hot, will be served to you. So in one case, when I was carrying that in the train, I purchased that, and before I could go home, the eagle caught that everything and took it off, and I don't have any more money to buy anything. I went crying home. That was a very wonderful memory I had in my childhood days. Thank you very much, Toastmaster. Now I would like to have question to another speaker, Srikant Kuti.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not able to turn on my video. Kindly excuse me.
Okay, that's fine. You can.
Yes, sir.
Your audio is okay for us.
Yes, sir.
Your question is, what are
Okay.
your fondest memories of rainfall as a child?
Yes. Thank you very much. Well, rather than my childhood, it was just in my adolescence when I was completing my +2 way back in the mid 1980s. So you should guess how old I am. what happened is I had a very close friend of mine who had a car at those days. That was one of those vintage cars. Now we call it as Fiat Padmir. And we, along with a couple of friends, we had gone to a nearby waterfalls in Chennai. It's about 50 kilometers from Chennai. We went there. It was his father's car. So as we traveled to that place, it was cloudy but was not raining. And there was some puddle, there was a little bit of water. We had a good time swimming around. And then we decided to come back, return to Chennai. And that is where the trouble started. What really happened was, it started raining very heavily and we were driving back. And it was this friend of mine who knew how to drive. None of us knew driving. We could only push the car. And as we were about 10 to 15 kilometers from the spot, we were just going through some very muddy road. And to our bad luck, the car broke down. And there was no way we could get the mechanic anywhere near the car. The service station was another 15 to 20 kilometers, and it was getting dark and raining heavily. And three of us, we decided to spend the entire night inside the car, waiting for the next day morning to push the car to the nearest garage or service station to get it done. And that experience of about 8 to 10 hours inside the car, we had some food, we had some water to drink, but we had a very good time enjoying an entire night of rainfall inside the car. And this is something that I can never forget. And it was even more anxious when our parents were searching for us. We were supposed to come back. There were no phones, there was no mobile phone. You can imagine how the situation would be at. But thankfully, the next day and all of us were happy, but our parents had a very miserable time not knowing what happened to three guys who left in a car. But that's something that I really cherish, though I feel sorry I had to put my parents go through all this. But the experience is something that I really enjoyed, and I want all of you to enjoy the rain, given the situation that we are not getting much rains in India, at least in this part of Tamil Nadu in Chennai. And that's one thing about my childhood days when I spent the night on a rainy night inside the car. Thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you, Srikanth. Your very good experience on this one. And it is really, I am wondering that the car doesn't float in the flood, monsoon flood. That is where you can would have escaped. And your parents would have been more worried. So your car was stationarily intact at that particular point itself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to ask one more, that is, who wants to take up the next question?
So we have Hari in the room, we have Saishri in the room, we have a few more guests. We have, out of Hari Singh or Saishri, if anyone wants to take over, I think we can go ahead.
Okay. Your question is, may I know who is going to take up the next question?
So I can request Hari Singh. Hari Singh can probably take it up, I think.
Okay. For you, the question is, if it rained today.
Sorry, sir, I am not. I am in the driving.
Pardon?
Yeah, it's
Sorry, sir, I will not be able to speak because I am in the driving.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will take.
So the joke master, Toastmaster Saishri, would like to take up the topic.
Okay. For you, Saishri, Toastmaster Saishri, this is your question. If it rained today after the meeting, is over, would you wait for to stop or step out anyways? Over to you.
Can you repeat?
Yeah. If it rained today after this meeting is over, would you wait for it to stop or step out anyways?
I'm visible and audible.
Perfectly good.
Rain, rain, don't go away. Saishri is waiting for you. Rain, actually, I love a lot. If it is raining and that time, I love two things: cycling or driving my scooty at a speed of 40 to 50 kilometer per hour. I know this is not good, but yes, that is my passion. I cannot drive my bike below 40. So as you asked table topic master of the day, what I will do if it is raining outside? Yes, I will be going for a ride or the cycling, whatever it is available, because I love to enjoy the rain. Rain actually, in my philosophy, it is something which will give you immunity. One person who enjoy the rain bath, natural rain bath, will produce many antibiotics unknowingly in their body. So this is from my side. It is a very gentle advice to you all. Don't stop your children when it is raining. Don't say, don't go outside, because this is going to boost their energy, immunity against the virus. And other thing, the greenery, because all the leaves are washed naturally, that green color and the flowers, it is going to attract you. Definitely, I'm waiting. It should rain and I will go. Bye-bye. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Sai Shri. You are in the Bangalore. It is raining only, and you will definitely go after the meeting when it is heavily rains. We will be drenching all your dress. Be careful anyway. Thank you so much. You have come after a long 6 months after that. I remember that. I would like to ask the timer, do you have any more?
No, Toastmaster Joseph, I don't think we have more time. I think that will be the end, I believe.
So I can close it off. Thank you very much for all the speakers of the table topic, and give them the great applause for speaking from their heart and mind. I really love their words, and the messages that they have given to us during this impromptu speech is really wonderful and magnificent. Hats off to everyone who spoke on this meeting on the table topics. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Adarsh.
Thank you very much for that, Toastmaster Joseph. I'd like all to give a round of applause for our Toastmaster Joseph for that amazing table topic session. Eating corn, running, having fun, playing with our friends. This is what makes Monsoon very special, if I'm not wrong. Now, I'm not going to ask you any more questions because it seems like all of you have already expressed or professed your love for Monsoon during today's meeting. Now we'll move on to the next segment of today's meeting, that is the general evaluation session, or the evaluation session. It will be presented by our general evaluator, DTM, Milind Kulapkar. I'm having a hard time with DTM and TM today. I don't know why exactly. Over to you, DTM, Milind Kulapkar, for the evaluation session.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Adarsh. Now, may I request the evaluator number 1, Toastmaster Shaurav, to share his evaluation for the speaker number 1, Toastmaster Shubhadeep.
Okay, I have to start with a confession of guilt. And the confession of guilt is that I have not stayed true to the evaluation ethics of Toastmaster. The evaluation ethics of Toastmaster says always focus on the speech and never on the speaker. Now here's the problem: when the speaker is such a profound speaker who comes on stage with so much of confidence, with so much of so much of assertiveness, has got such a strong screen presence, it becomes very difficult to decide whether to focus on the speech or on the speaker. So after that constant struggle of 5 to 7 minutes, I was able to make a note of a few points where I tried to keep focus on the speech. And this is what I really liked about your speech, that first of all, let me get the fundamentals out of the way. You absolutely met your project objectives. Okay, whatever the purpose of your speech was, that to have control, not to have nervousness, and not to have any kind of fillers, right? Control over the fillers. I challenge anyone in this room to tell me, anyone, even for a split second, would have felt that our speaker today was nervous. Absolutely not, right? I think, and they're not telling this to you to make you feel good. the entire speech of 5 to 7 minutes, the way you were reacting, your body language, your expressions, like, and like I was thinking, everything that you were doing, it was like you were so much natural, it was so much into the moment. When you were talking to your dad, he was so much into the moment that we all felt that we were a part of those conversations, we were a part of that journey. Absolutely brilliant job there. Now, when I take the speaker into consideration, and you being one of the best speakers that we have in District 92, that puts an onus on us to also give you some feedback which you could probably put to good use. So the first and the foremost one, I don't know if you had your quota of workout today in the morning, but this stage is definitely not to practice that. You literally had your hands moving during the entire 5 to 7 minute speech. I think except for a 30 seconds recess when your hands probably said, I'm tired, give me a break, you absolutely kept on boxing in the air. And this is something which you need to bring a little bit of control over, particularly when we are moving into an offline world, because that's where it's going to be even more prominent. See, here you still have the luxury, some of your hand movements are happening down here, so we can't see. But imagine seeing you on the stage with so much of aggression could actually intimidate your audience, saying that, okay, what's going to happen next? Secondly, and this is something that I don't know whether you can do something about it, but the glare on your specs is making it very difficult for us to see any of your eye movements, any of your anything that you're trying to do with your eyes, because we absolutely can't see it. So one thing which you can probably try is, I don't know if you go totally blind without specs. If not, then probably remove the specs when you're trying to make a speech. If that's the case, reduce the brightness of your laptop. That would probably make it slightly better. I'm not too sure about it. And finally, a speech like this with some terms like big hours or by the end of this path, I think that the correct usage is at the end of this path. And it's definitely not big hours. There's better usage of English language there. A speaker of your caliber, having even one or two such words, it kind of sticks out and pains me here, because the perfect speech slightly gets a dip because of such usage. So just keep that in consideration, Toastmaster Subhadeep. Otherwise, what else can I say? But you are an inspiration for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you to Toastmaster Shobha for excellent evaluation of Shubhadeep's speech. It was awesome. It was epitome of evaluation, the way you went into minute details and the positive and very constructive feedback which you gave. I'm sure the star performer that Shubhadeep is going to grab that with both the hands, and next time he'll dazzle and sizzle you. So let's give a round of applause to Toastmaster Shubhadeep, the speaker, and his evaluator, Shobha. Now, may I call upon Toastmaster Deepa, the evaluator for the second speaker, Prashant. Over to Deepa.
Thank you, General Evaluator DTM Milind, and to the speaker number 2. What a nice, lovely speech. I clearly found that you had prepared for this speech. The story, the opening, the quotes in between. I could clearly see that there was some kind of homework that was done into building such a beautiful speech. And negotiation, the way you opened was brilliant, I must say. Because I never thought, what is going on? You were talking about sleep and somebody trying to wake you up, and then connecting with the audience with something as common as negotiating for our sleep early in the morning, and then bringing about audience engagement there. So kudos to you on the great opening. I also like the way you supported your speech throughout as to how to negotiate with stories, with a story, the merchant story, and your story, which is the Kumbh Mela story. So all of these were done very well. There was a clear, neat flow of ideas. Now, if I had to suggest you something that could have been done better to make the speech effective, was the opening itself. There was so much humor that we could have captured in that opening. It seemed at a certain point that the person who was trying to wake you up was very patient with you. So if you could show us how impatient they got, or make us relate to that and evoke some laughter, It would have been nothing better than that. So they say opening a speech with humor is a great way. I think there was a little tiny bit of missed opportunity there. And then coming on to one general suggestion is, I felt you packed in a little too much of content, because I wanted to soak in the story when you were talking about the 18 camels, how the split happened. It went a little too fast for me. If you could go slow and then give us some sort of formula. Now you are trying to give something to the audience here, teach us about negotiation, maybe give us some formula about a negotiation that works out. Lay it out simply, tell us, okay, this is how it's happening. Bring that out a little too often, so that something just hits us and we take back something. So with this speech, I remember the story of the camel, I remember the Kumbh Mela story, but how do I solve a negotiation remain unsolved as an audience member? So if you could give us some solution as an audience. That said, I really like the content, the way it flowed. You have adequate vocal variety to keep the audience engaged. A little work on the humor bit of the brilliant opening, and you're good to go for the next speech. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepa, for absolutely giving your evaluation to the dot, the T, and you used the sandwich method. You highlighted the areas where you were dazzled and the areas where you can work. And I'm sure Speaker Prashant will take it. Today, I'm fortunate. The quality of speakers and the quality of evaluators who were there, they made my job really easy. I don't have anything else to add. So I look forward for such evaluation as well as such speakers. So kudos to Toastmaster Prashant and Toastmaster Shubhadeep. Now it's my time to call my tag team. I would request the grammarian for the day to share his inputs.
Hi, so I would take this time to explain both my roles as grammarian and R counter. I would start with my grammarian role. I would reiterate what General Secretary DTM Million has already mentioned, that the quality of speakers in Speechweavers, and especially in this meeting, actually made my work a lot harder, but very satisfactory, because there are very less improvement areas. I would first go to the good usages. There were really good terms like polishing the habit, envision yourself, kicking off the journey, culminate. There was an interesting word, remote work. In the last 2 years, with the words like work from home, workstations, remote work was very less used, but there was a use of remote work. There is caveat, spearhead, and then with respect to rain, there was drizzle, representing less rain, and pouring rain, cats and dogs, to explain heavy rainfall. Evaluator 1 had a very interesting term, boxing in the air, which I found really interesting, so I thought I would highlight that. Now moving on to the R counter, in the first segment of prepared speeches, speaker was flawless, as rightly pointed out by his evaluator, and evaluator 1 became Saurabh. He was again absolutely flawless. Coming to speaker 2, there was just one word, right, which was used as a filler. I think because his speech was so flawless, that one word actually stood out. Apart from that, there was no R counter, no filler, no pauses, absolutely brilliant. With respect to speaker evaluator 2, Toastmasters Deepa, there was a little bit of filler words. There were 3 R's and 2 So I think she can work a little bit harder to remove all those filler words. And in the final segment, which is actually a difficult segment, the table topics, there was just one R from across the speakers. So just kudos to the amount of effort that the speakers are putting in when they're working behind the scenes, or probably doing their homework before coming to the meeting. So with this, I hand over to General Evaluator DTM Million.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bidu. For being a VP Education, you ensured that all the role takers are filled up, and wherever you found there was a gap or someone could not join, you jumped into the fray, taking up the role of grammarian, and then on the fly taking the role of a R counter. So that was kudos to you for how I thoroughly enjoyed this meeting, the way you conducted with the plethora of quality speakers, evaluators, and table topic speakers in every road. So that was good. So hats off to Toastmaster Bidu for the all-round performance which he did. Now may I request the listener for the day, Toastmaster Kamini, to throw your questions to us, and let's see how good we are as a listener, the way you wanted us to be. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Milan. Your energy is coming right across the scenes to me. So I hope I can only match up to the level here. Let's begin active listening. Let me see how many of you were into the meeting with all your ears. So the first question is,
Kamini, we are unable to hear you. I hope you're, yeah.
Okay, till the time she joins back, listener, let me start with my general evaluation. I'll keep the timer at the end because I need to ensure the meeting ends at 6:30 sharp. So let me go backwards with our table topic master, Toastmasters Joseph. Joseph, sir, you are an epitome of a person who takes every role sincerely with dedication, and you perform it the way it ought to be, the way you explain the importance of table topic and the way you conversed with every speaker and gave your tips after they had finished their topic. So that was fantastic. And the way you, as if you were conversing with them, it was not a session as such, but you were gossiping with them. It was like an adda which we have across on a rainy day, and where you were talking about the samosas and other things. That was great. So kudos to you, sir. It is really a pleasure to have you. Then I come to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Adarsh. Toastmaster Adarsh, the way you picked up the theme, you asked questions, and you took us down the memory lane or the journey of a rainy day. That was really good, asking questions and even giving a surprise from one of the guests or the speaker who was not fond of a rainy day. So that way, where you really, the theme you elaborated and you just made our day on a day when we are really having rain in Bangalore for a number of days. And then one by one, which you picked up all the role takers, energized, put the thing. One area I would like to request you, just be aware of the sequence of the things, so you don't miss out. So just keep that handy in front of you, so you don't, in your exuberance, there may be a chance that you may miss out, and then that becomes a bit of a dampener in your fantastic energy. So that is one important, just be aware of. That's the only small suggestion which I have with you. Otherwise, it was fantastic. So let's give a lot of applause to Toastmaster Adarsh. Now I come to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Shubhadeep. So Shubhadeep, what he did, he saved his time on the theme or his presidential address, because he was speaker number one, and that speech of his encouraging people to join Toastmasters and how he suffered when he was not there, that itself was a presidential address. So what I would have given him, that you today missed your presidential address. No, you had consciously taken that decision that, okay, anyway, that is part of your speech which you are giving. So that was beautifully done. So we were well in time for that. One suggestion now what is that, since it's a presidential address, I can challenge you, you can think over coming in the attire of a president. Work on that, because round callers seem to be too casual. Of course, nowadays I've seen CFOs and CEOs coming in the meeting office also in round collar. Just as a challenge, you can take it, experiment with that, because you are a person who likes to experiment with everything. A formal attire would add a glamour to your fantastic personality which you have. Otherwise, beautifully done. And before that, we had our Toastmaster Nitin as a sergeant of arms. He was really on dot sharp. He started the meeting, gave the points which is required as a sergeant of arms, welcome them, and then hand it over to the presiding officer. I would just suggest to him, you can introduce the president. You can take, Nitin, you can just share that inputs from Shubhadeep and try to share some snippets about Shubhadeep's, which we may not be knowing it. That's something which I would like to. And yeah, coming to the joke master. The joke master, I thoroughly enjoyed the way you were taking, it was a role play which you were doing. That was really good. And with the humor between husband and wife, how they keep on having these debates, and that was beautifully done. Only feel, well, I felt as such. So when you were doing role takes, your voice was dropping. So there were some words which I could not hear properly. So which was your punchline. So that was getting, so just be aware of maybe in your role taking the exuberance, you were missing out on that. So just be aware of. So that is something, otherwise you are really a stand-up comedian of par excellence. A good job done. So is the listener ready over there? Kamini?
Yes, DTM Milind, I'm ready. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
ahead,
it got dropped.
No, they're absolutely
Okay. All right. So the first question for each one of you is, you could either unmute and answer or raise your hand. What did Toastmaster Seshri ask her husband to do when he came to wish her happy Guru Purnima?
That's a pretty difficult question for me.
Anyone? What did she ask him to do? Yes, Toastmaster Prashant.
Asked her husband to go and wish her mother rather than me. So just divert the conversation to the mother.
Totally on point. Thank you for being attentive there. Question number 2. According to Toastmaster Prashant, what do we all do on a day-to-day basis?
We compromise.
No.
Negotiation.
Yes, Joseph sir, that's correct. Thank you for paying attention. Okay, this is the third one. Who was Toastmaster Shubhadeep terrified of?
He's dead.
Yes, DTM Saurav, correct. So even off the camera, your ears are in the meeting. Number 4, for how many days did Toastmaster Prashant's reportee wanted to go to the Kumbh Mela? Toastmaster Prashant has the widest of the smile there. I mean, smile, laugh, the teeth are visible. What do I say? Anyone? Okay, there's already green light. Should I say the answer? Okay, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
What title did General Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Milind, give to Toastmaster Shubhadeep after listening to his evaluations, to his speech evaluation? What title did GE give to Speaker 2, Toastmaster Shubhadeep? Okay, he said you're a star performer. What was Distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta's confession of guilt?
He was focusing on the speaker instead of the speech.
What was the exact term? You're correct, you're right, but could you give me the term that he used?
Ethics was violated.
Ethics were violated? Which ethics? Evaluation ethics. Yeah. Thank you for your attention there. I already see the red card, though I have more questions, but I'm going to stop here now. Thank you so much for the ones who were attentive in the meeting and for the ones who were thinking. All the best for the next meetings. We always have a second chance. It's back to you, General Evaluator, from my side.
Thank you, Listener Kamini. Now I hand it to the timer to give his report. And since he is the TMOD, from there he can take over for paucity of time. Over to the timer, Toastmaster Adarsh.
Thank you very much, DTM Milind. Here is the timer report for today's meeting. And I must say that all of us, if not most of us, most of us have been on time today, and I'd like to congratulate all of you on being time conscious. Starting off with our essay. Our essay was within time. He was well within time of around 2 minutes. I think he spent around 1 minute and 45 seconds to introduce himself and the meeting and the rules. The presiding officer, I was not able to keep track of the amount of time that was taken at that time, but I can tell for a fact that he was well within time. The 4 minutes that was allotted to him was perfect. I think he lived up to it. The joke master, Toastmaster Sai Shri, took around 1 minute and 35 seconds, which was well within the 2 minute mark. Thank you very much for that. Our speakers, both of them were well within time. Toastmaster Shubhadeep took 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Toastmaster Prashant, oh, my apologies. Toastmaster Prashant actually went over time by 15 seconds. He took 7 minutes and 15 seconds. I think it's something he can obviously improve on, and I'm sure he will. Coming to our table topic speakers, I must tell that all of them were well within time. Thank you very much to each and every speaker for being time conscious in your approach. Toastmaster Manish took 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Kavani took 1 minute and 50 seconds. Prashant took 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Shrikant took 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Thankfully, he did go past a grace period of 30 seconds, which is good. Toastmaster Sai Shri took 1 minute and 54 seconds. Our evaluations went a bit over time, particularly from Toastmaster Saurav, DTM Saurav. He took 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Toastmaster Deepa was well within time, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And as for our grammarian and our counter, Toastmaster Bidu, he merged both his reports and he presented them together. And he took a total of 1 minute and 42 seconds. Our listener, Toastmaster Kamini, took 2 minutes and 33 seconds. She went a bit over time, but that's totally all right. Our general evaluator today, DTM Milind, came very close to the 5 minute mark, but he managed to put his report together for around 1 minute and 56 seconds. Thank you very much for that, DTM Milind. And that's pretty much it from the timer's desk. And I'm going to quickly go ahead and conclude my session as the Toastmaster of the day. Now, during today's session, some of us said that we don't like the monsoon, and some of us said that we love the monsoon. But here's the thing. Our love for monsoon is very subjective. I think it is very circumstantial. Now, let's take the example. I'll give you two scenarios. Scenario number one is a scenario where you're there as a 10-year-old playing along with your friends. You're playing under the rain. You're playing volleyball or football or cricket or any sport that you love. I'm sure back when you were a child, you loved the monsoon season. But fast forward to many years later, here we are. And this brings me to scenario number two. We get drenched every day. Imagine yourself putting on a suit and a shirt and a tie, and you're about to go to your work, and all of a sudden it starts raining. I'm sure this is not something that any of us would enjoy. And built apart that all of us hate monsoon. Now, it's been so many years since we last played the football or volleyball with our friends. So we have grown to hate monsoon because we're always getting drenched on our way to work, and we're not getting drenched when we are playing. Because look behind me, you see the quote there? Some people feel the rain, others just like to get wet. We have stopped loving the opportunity of getting wet, and that's because we are not enjoying life anymore. I would urge each and every one of you, our speaker, Toastmaster Prashant, Shubhadeep, Milind, Joseph, so everybody go out, get wet. We don't like rain. Yes, we don't like rain because on your way to work, I'm sure none of us would want to get wet because we're there for, we have our job and nobody wants to see us drenched when we're there, when we're about to sit at our desk. But when you're at home, just go out and get yourself wet. Have fun. And that's exactly what my theme, Getting Drenched, is all about. On that note, I'd like to hand it back to our presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Shubhadeep. Over to you.
Adarsh, shall we have photographs?
Yes, sir. Joseph, sir, I'm able to hear you.
Photograph.
The photograph. Oh, yeah, I think that might be pretty good. Yes, I'd like all of you to turn on your videos right now. Toastmaster Sai Shri, Toastmaster Bidu, Toastmaster Saurav. Toastmaster Manish, Shrikant, Kamini, everybody turn on your videos. I think Bidu, will be able to take the photo.
And put on your best face, whatever they can.
Manish, are you there?
3, 2, 1. Thank you so much.
Back to you, presiding officer, Toastmaster Shildeep.
Thank you, Toastmaster Adarsh, for the wonderful session. And I believe that tomorrow, if I feel better, I'll definitely try to go outside and drench myself in the rain. Amazing session. And thank you all of you for being part of this session. Now, as a customary in Speech Weavers, I would request maybe a minute or two from our guest to share the feedback on how the meeting was before we conclude it for today.
Toastmaster Shubdeep, apologies to interrupt. I put up the voting link to vote for your favorite speakers and role takers. All of you are free to go ahead and click on the link. I'll announce the results soon after the presiding officer. Back to you.
Great. Thanks, Adarsh. Yeah. So the link is also there to vote out for your favorite speakers, your evaluators, the role takers. Please take a moment to do that so that the members are also encouraged and try to perform even better in the next upcoming sessions. And yeah, like I mentioned, I would request the guests to please share your feedback about how the meeting was. Let me start off with Manish. You want to share your quick feedback with us? Manish, you are on mute if you're speaking. Okay, maybe we'll come back to Manish. Shrikant, do you want to share any feedback that you have?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a honor and a privilege for me to be a part of today's meeting, and even more happy and privileged I feel is because I could hear DTM yeah, I could hear DTM Milland and also DTM Felix Benedict and the ever smiling Toastmaster Adarsh and all the other people. It was a really good experience, and there's a lot of takeaway for me. We are having a club meeting tomorrow, and the takeaways right for me is the quality of the meeting and the way the evaluation was done was really remarkable. And the tag teams reports were also good. And I also like the way the listener who has been very attentive throughout the meeting and listening to all this. And this is something that I really want to incorporate in my club and make my club also something others can be inspired and also take it forward. So it was a great meeting, and I wish you all the very best, and God bless you all. Thank you, and back to you.
Thanks. Thank you, Shrikant, for the feedback. And I think we have Kamini up. Can you hear us? It was a wonderful listening session from you. You want to share your quick feedback about how the meeting went, your thoughts?
Okay, so this particular theme was theme which I had taken in Gabby's, which was my club last year back, exactly a year now, Monsoon Memories, and it just brought back everything to me in this meeting. I am glad I could be a part of it. And the strange part is that before coming into this meeting, I was having a conversation with Adarsh over WhatsApp and requesting him to take up a role in Rising Speakers tomorrow. Little did I know that I would be coming here and I would be offered a role and I would be performing a role. So this is how life works around you. Things happen. And yeah, I'm just happy to have attended this. Like I said, it's nostalgic to me in terms of theme. And monsoons are always close to my heart. Thank you for having a good meeting and for the content being so relatable. Thank you. All the best for the future.
Thanks, Kamini. And I think I request DTM Saurav to share his final words before we look into the voting results.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So first of all, thank you, Shubhadeep. You started off with your presidential address saying that we, the speech weavers, are known for. And I'm thanking you because I think clearly you took a leaf out of my meeting yesterday, where you said that it's very important for us to say at the very beginning that what are we known for as a club. See, we are marketing heavily, for everyone to join Toastmasters. But then it's up to you to define your brand so that people join Toastmasters. When they join Toastmasters, they join Speech Weavers, right? And every time you remember and you remind everyone, this is a club which is known for this, you're excellently doing that. So thank you so much for doing that. I think that adds a lot of value to members. Why are they here? They know. And speech weaver meeting quality, I think the lesser said the better. I mean, when you have people like, like as I say, I have a BOD, the board of Dronacharyas, and two of my Dronacharyas sit on this board in this particular club. One is DTM Milind and the other one is Deepa Sampath Kumar. So I have learned like a selfish magpie from both of them. So I am not qualified to comment on the quality of the meeting, which is like top notch as always. But yeah, I think this is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry for going overboard with the time, Shubhodip, but you are the reason.
Yeah, no, but that's absolutely fine. So I think, thank you so much, Saurabh, for your kind words and feedback. Adarsh, do we have the voting results before we conclude?
Yes, I do have the voting results. We have around 7 responses. I've stopped accepting the responses. I'll quickly go ahead and announce the winners. The best supporting role taker for today's meeting was our joke master, Toastmasters Sai Shri. Thank you very much for joining us. A round of applause. The best role taker for today's meeting, it's actually split between myself and the general evaluator for today's meeting, DTM Milind. Round of applause for DTM Milind for being the best role taker for today's meeting. The best auxiliary role taker for today's meeting is Toastmaster Kamini, the listener. Thank you very much for joining us. You are the best auxiliary role taker for today's meeting at Speechweavers. The best evaluator, I think this was quite a competition, to be honest. But it is DTM Saurav, the best evaluator for today's meeting. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Division B Director. The best speaker for today's meeting was Toastmaster Prashant. Toastmaster Prashant, your speech was too good, and the same can be said for Toastmaster Shubhadeep, but I think this was quite a tussle, and I think you came out on top. The best table topic speaker for today's meeting is Toastmaster Shrikant. Toastmaster Shrikant, thank you for joining us once again at Speechweavers, and that is the list of winners. Back to you, Toastmaster Shubhadeep.
Thank you, Adarsh, for sharing the results. And with that note, thank you all of you for joining once again. And we meet every week at the same time, 5 p.m. So please tune in, join us every week. And if you have any questions, you have the WhatsApp group available. Adarsh, myself, we all are there. There is Vidhu as well, who is our VPN. Please feel free to reach out in case you have any questions on Toastmasters. So with that being said, I would like to conclude the meeting of Toastmasters, and it's meeting number 673. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a nice Friday. Bye-bye.